One day I was at a bar and I tried to flirt with some spreadsheets, but I just couldn't find the right formula. What's going on, everyone? This is Will from the Apple One-to-One Training Channel. Thank you so much for joining us on this very special episode. We are talking about documents today. If you are brand new to a Mac, we have a great new training video we did for the MacBook Neo. It kind of goes over a lot of things about the Neo, but also discovers all different things that you could do with your Apple device. And this is a continuation from it, but this is going to be great for anybody who is not too sure of what document app to use. And that's what this is all about. Please like and subscribe to our training channel. We do training videos every week, and we're going to discuss 3 major apps today. We're going to talk about Pages, Google Docs, and we're going to talk about Microsoft Word. The idea is to pick the correct workflow that you want to use for your documents. I chose these 3 because these are probably the most popular apps, not to mention that they work with your iPhone or iPad and they can connect with your Mac. So I wanted to go over the comparisons of that. But the first thing we're going to do, beyond just talking about the documents and actually seeing it on the screen, is actually going over the background of this, because it's not only the Documents app itself that you're going to work on, but also cloud, because the biggest thing that's been happening over the last decade is cloud transformation. We are moving all of our documents to those locations, and it'd be really good to know if you're going to be a Apple account user, a Google account user, or a Microsoft 365 user, that there are options out there that you need to know about before deciding going down a path. This is not only going to be about how or to choose which app works best for you as far as workflow goes, but also what cloud option is also going to be attached to this moving forward. So this chart right here explains Google One, Microsoft OneDrive, and iCloud Plus. If you sign up for the first time, you are getting free storage plan for each one. Google One gives you, as of this recording, 15 gigs of free storage. OneDrive and iCloud Plus give you 5 gigs. Now you have to remember, iCloud gives you so much more than that, as well as Google One, and it's also drive storage, so it's cloud storage, but that is all included with it. Also on this chart is all the different storage tiers that you have for each plan, because the reality is there's no way you're going to stick with the free plan. It's going to be at some point in your life you're going to have to upgrade this plan. As of 2026, when this video is recorded, right now you can see the free storage plans we've already outlined. 50 gigs for 99 cents is the only option available for iCloud Plus. Google One has for $199 100 gigs. Same thing with Microsoft OneDrive. And then if you go down to 200 gigs, you can see that Google One and iCloud Plus have the same exact pricing plan. And of course, being in the Apple ecosystem, there is an advantage over having iCloud Plus, because remember, this is also your photos, this is also related to your documents, this is related to your contacts, and also your iCloud backups as well for your phone. The best value overall is definitely the 2 terabyte plan, which is what I have for $9.99 a month. And of course, I'm an Apple One user, so I get all these different bundles put together as one. So it's not just the storage. We're going to break this down in 2 ways. One is physically working on it on your computer itself as if you had no internet connection whatsoever, but also how to do this online, that if you were to work on the document online, how do you do that? Now it's time to dive into this wonderful environment. All right, everybody. So now that we've gone over all the options regarding Google, Pages, and Word, and all the options as far as free accounts and all that, now we're going to dive into actual experiences, what you're doing as you're using it. I have already discussed Pages many times on this channel. Here's the link right above on the top right. You can go there and look at all the different ways of how to use Pages. That is not the goal here of this entire video. It's really just to go over what our options are based on if you have an account or you don't. And that's really the idea of it. So I have all 3 of these open at the same time. I have a Pages document, a Word, and I have Google Docs. So first off, let's talk about Microsoft Office. Now, I am using Word Online right now. This is a free option that you get to have when you are a 365 account person. Now, this is a completely free account. So I can go online and start typing. So how did I get here? So it's word.cloud.microsoft. So it opens up this template right here. I have some options that I could use by default, and then you can just open up create a blank document. You can upload a document, and then as I create one, it opens up Word in this version. Now, of course, we are online. You have to have an online account for this to work. And now I would just start typing things out. I'll call it test 1, 2, 3. You have all your options up here, and then you can go ahead, and as you can see, it's saving to the cloud. And I don't know right now whether it is going to like OneDrive, but I'm assuming it's sticking within the Word area. Of course, you can go and look at all the other options, Excel and PowerPoint. We're just focusing on the actual Word. We're actually just focusing on Word just because it's the same no matter what you try. So that's how it's done. And then I can give it a name. I'll call it test 1, 2, 3. And then it's done. And then if I go home, and on this page, you can see on the bottom, the document I just created is down here, so I can access it. So that's Word. Now things are a little trickier if you want to do this offline, because everything we're talking about with Word is online. Well, Microsoft Word is available on the App Store. So if you go on the App Store and you download Microsoft Word, so all you got to do is just type in the search for Word, and you will get the option for Microsoft Word. And if you open it, this is where the free account is no longer great, because now you are stuck paying for this. So you could do $100 a year for the 365, plus you get 1 terabyte worth of storage. So that is part of it. Or you could do a family plan for $129. You could do a free trial for a month if you want to do it. And then of course they have the options here below comparing the account options. So again, for free, you can create, edit, and save on your phone and on the web, but you cannot do anything locally, which means that if you have no internet connection, you will not be able to perform anything on Word at all, which makes Microsoft probably the worst option to choose from when it comes to using anything related to documents, because you are limited on that. Now, again, you get 5 gigs of storage for free, and then so that's more than enough for most documents. But again, if you start going into PowerPoints, you're going to start hitting a threshold here. In my opinion on this, Word is the worst possible option. Now, I know that everyone loves using Word and all that, but reality is this is not great. However, there is another option I do like. Let's go ahead and open up LibreOffice. LibreOffice is a .org download. It is completely free, and it is a free download that you could do. I remember using this a long time ago when I didn't want to pay for Microsoft, but you could download this software and it gives you all the tools you need in there. So if you had to work on it in this app and then upload it to Word, you could do that. So I'm giving you the options that I think would be if you are going to continue being a Word user. But in my opinion, I don't think you should. Now let's talk about Pages. So Pages obviously is already built into your computer. You don't have to download or do anything. So you can go ahead and open up a document. Again, I've already gone over how to use Pages, so we're not going to dive too much into that. But I can go to Test, I could save that, and then I can save it directly to a Pages folder that is already made in iCloud. And I can call it Testing Apple, and then I could save that. And now this document is going to go up to iCloud because I have an account, and then it's going to be available to me online. So if I was to go on the web, let's go to iCloud.com. Let's log in. All right, so I'm on my page here. I'm going to go over to the Pages section. You can see Testing Apple. The one I just made is right here. I double click it, and then I can open it up and continue working on it online. Same deal, of course, you could do this on your phone. Right away, you have an offline option, an online option, and you have collaboration, obviously, with anybody. There is a collaboration feature built in here, so if you have to collaborate with other people, you can go up to the top here, and then you could either email them or copy a link and send it to them. Going back to Pages here, you can also go to Share, and you could be able to work on Pages, no different than Cloud and everything. So what's the downside of this? Well, here's the thing. I'm a Pages user. I've been using Pages for a very, very long time. The reality is, though, not everyone has an iCloud account, and that is the problem. But also, some people don't pay for the additional storage on their iCloud account. One thing that will help everyone going forward is knowing that if the person you're trying to share a document with has an Apple account, you can go online and access this, but the reality is not everyone uses it. And that's the downside of Pages, is that people are a little scared because you're creating a Pages file, you're not creating a WordX file, and that also kind of puts a little fear in people. Now, of course, you can always create a Word file. You can go to the Export To, and there is a Word option, there's a PDF option, everything is there that you need if you have to do it. So don't be afraid of using Pages whatsoever. Now let's talk about the most popular option here on the right, and that is Google Drive. So Google Drive is used a lot, and I get why people use it. It is a great option to work on your files and share it with other people, which is probably the biggest reason, is that pretty much everyone has a Google account. Also, Google gives you that extra 15 gigs of storage compared to the 5 gigs that Apple gives you. So right away, you get more room. But of course, Google Docs, the biggest problem is you are dealing with an online only feature. Now there is a feature where you could download Google Drive directly to the computer, but again, you need an editor to work on it. However, Chrome has a unique feature. Chrome does allow you to actually work on files offline, but there's a way you have to do it. So if I open up my new, and then I'm going to go to Google Docs, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to remove this. It's going to be docs.google.com. That is the website we need to go to. So this is the page basically you need to be at. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark it down as a bookmark. And then I'll call Google Docs, and it's fine. And one of the key features you want to make sure that's turned on is offline syncing. So within Google, you can go to a file like testing I have right here inside the Google Drive. And then what I could do is there's a little dot right here, and then it says make available offline. And what that's going to do, in fact, you can do this with all your files, is you can make it available offline. So in the event that Wi-Fi is no longer here, you will be able to get back to it. So here is an example of how to do that. So just to get this started, I went ahead and I turned off the Wi-Fi. It's completely off in here. But now what I did is I went to docs.google.com, and even though I'm offline, which you can see I can not go on the web and do anything, so just so everybody knows I'm not able to do anything, there is an option in here where my actual document is still available here in the docs. And if I go ahead and click on it, I can open it up, and it's actually going to be able to start working on it. So I can say test 1, 2, 3, and work on the document, even though I have no internet connection whatsoever, because I have a document that is ready to go. And you can see like this little computer here icon represents that it's actually saving the file. So if I went back to Google Docs and I wanted to go back into it, you can see that right now it's still waiting to be sunk. But if I reopen it back up, it says right here I have to reload. I'm going to do that. There we go. And now it's up and running. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to turn on the Wi-Fi. So now that the Wi-Fi is starting to connect, you're going to see this start to change, because now the status is that there is going to be an online connection available, and then it's now going to sync across. So you could do this for Docs, for PowerPoint, for many other, for all the different options in here. And as you can see now, a cloud icon appeared, and now it has sunk. So now if I go back, it's going to run a little bit smoother because now it's available to do. So what is the key with Google Docs? Well, you have to make sure that googledocs.com is saved as a bookmark and that you have your files available offline. That way that in the future, if you are able to work on your file, you have to make sure of that ahead of time. So if you go to Google Docs and you go to settings, there is an option to, I believe, turn this on. So you can see offline, there's a little checkbox. Create, open, and edit your recent Google Doc files on this device while offline. And you definitely want to make sure that's on. So that is just a key element to make sure you have that on. What's the downside of this? Well, again, if you're not having an internet connection and you didn't set this up ahead of time, that's where things get a little funky. So you want to make sure that you are prepped for that, and that's why I think these videos are very helpful. Now, it's up to you what you want to use. If you want to use Word, Pages, or Google Docs, it doesn't matter. I told you, my workflow, what works for me has been Pages. I've been using Pages for such a long time, but I've been a long time Mac user. But if you are new and to this new workflow, you probably have an established workflow already. So I wouldn't be shocked if Word or Docs is going to be more so your priority, but don't skip out on Pages. I do believe there is a value to having Pages here and the collaboration. And again, I have a lot of training videos on this channel that can teach you how to use it. So give it a try. And even if you were offline, you can still use Pages, create the document, and then eventually just create a Word file out of it. So you can still use Pages, then upload it to Docs later, or use Office later or OneDrive later. So you're not out of the loop. If you never even use Docs, you can always upload a Pages file just by saving it as a Word file. So I hope that was very helpful to help you understand the options that you have working with documents on a Mac, and just choose the best option that you would like. Thank you very much, everyone, and I love every single one of you.